Good morning, and welcome to Chapel Chat. I'm Pastor Kevin Little, and this is the chapel at Rantoul First United Methodist Church. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Our Bible study didn't meet this week, so I thought I'd chat about what we're missing. In our reading from last week, we learned about the birth of John the Baptist. His mother, Elizabeth, was Mary, Jesus' mother's cousin, or aunt, or some other sort of relative. It really depends on the translation you're looking at as to what it says. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about John's conception. Now, in the beginning of Luke, John's dad, Zechariah, is working in the temple. He's a priest, and he has been assigned the scary privilege of burning incense on the altar behind the curtain. Now, as he's at the altar, the angel Gabriel appears and starts off the conversation as angels always do. Do not be afraid. Check out my Halloween sermon about spooky tales from the Bible if you want more details about why people are always afraid of angels. Anyhow, the angel tells Zechariah that he's going to have a baby, which is very surprising because Zechariah and Elizabeth are old. Some sources even say she might have been in her 80s at the time of John's birth. Now, they had stopped hoping for a son long before Gabriel appeared. They'd given up. It wasn't even on their radar anymore. And here this angel pops in and drops a bomb on them. There are logistical concerns here also, like how are people this old really going to raise a kid? But then again, that also kind of explains John running around in animal hides eating locusts in the wilderness, I guess. But anyway, our focus as we lead into the first week of Advent is hope. And they had given up the hope of having a child. This is so unexpected in this moment that Zechariah questions how it could be possible. Remember that bit where he's a priest? And he's here questioning an angel while standing in a puddle of his own making? He's actually in the temple, at the altar of God, lighting incense, and has the nerve to question whether or not this is possible. So Gabriel tells him he's going to take his voice away until John is born because of his doubt. Now time passes, and then John is born. And Zechariah then, once he's born, speaks a prophecy of hope. He says, "Blessed is the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has visited and provided redemption for his people. He has raised up a horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David, just as he spoke by the mouth of his holy prophets in ancient times. Salvation from our enemies and from the hands of those who hate us. He has dealt mercifully with our ancestors and remembered his holy covenant, the oath that he swore to our father Abraham, to grant that we, having been rescued from the hand of our enemies, would serve him without fear in holiness and righteousness in his presence all our days. And you, child, will be called a prophet of the Most High, for you will go before the Lord to prepare his ways, to give his people knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins. Because of our God's merciful compassion, the dawn from on high will visit us to shine on those who live in darkness and the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace." Wow! This is hope for Israel and hope for the entire world, then coming from an unlikely situation where there had been no hope. This scripture reminds us to keep hope alive, even if it seems irrational. God always has something cooking, and we can't predict what it will be or when it will happen, but it's there and we just need to stay ready. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another Chapel Chat. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you right here again next week.